Okay guys, I'm going to be showing you how to do the mandala project found in Canvas. So first thing we need to do is have a regular sheet of printer paper, and then you also need to find a circle to trace. So I went through my kitchen and tried to find a couple, and I'm going to make my picture here, show the whole paper. Now your goal is to be able to fill the paper as much as possible, but without going over the edges, because we do want a complete circle. So like if I put this one down, it's a little bit too small. Then I also thought maybe this plate, but then that like barely goes over the edges. So I did find this size that would be pretty good. So raid your kitchen, find something that's going to be a decent size for you, and then carefully trace that with pencil, and then we have our circle. You could also look up tutorials online of how to create your own compass to draw circles, but this is super easy, so that's why I did that. Okay, so the next step is dividing our circle into 6 sections. That's how many different color schemes you're going to want to represent in our mandala, so we need to get the 6 color schemes. So for that, you're going to need a ruler. So if we measure our circles, and I am just going to give myself a little mark on halfway. Now mine happens to be exactly 8 inches. Yours is going to be different depending on what you use to trace. So half of 8 inches is 4. Again, you're going to have to find yours. I'm just going to draw a little bit line there, because what we're trying to do right now is find center. So I put my ruler going the other way. Again, 8 inches this way, so 4. So now where those 2 lines meet, I know that is my center mark. So that gives me a good starting point. So I'm going to first draw a line through my center mark. That divides my circle in half. So we have 2, we need 6. So from here, we have to divide this into thirds. Now, just to make it easy, I'm not going to stress about your mandala sections being perfectly even. So you just eyeball it, do the best you can. If you want, a good idea would be to very lightly give yourself the other center point. That way you know roughly where the middle section should be on each of these. So I'm going to go ahead and continue that. And again, not a huge deal if it is not a perfect division here. Okay. All right, and then I'll erase that extra guideline I gave, and then I can see I have my 6 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you Google just the word mandala, you see that we get some pretty crazy, super detailed sections here, or examples here. So for ours, you don't want to go too detailed, but definitely want quite a few lines. So like these 2 are great examples here that you could kind of use as inspiration. So do some research, find designs that you like, but really coming up with your own would be great too for this project. So I am going to kind of use those as inspiration, but do my own design here on my mandala. But one thing I wanted to point out is the radial symmetry. That's one of our vocab words for this project. What radial symmetry is where everything's like centered on a point. So from that middle point, and you go around, everything's the same, working its way around. So I'm going to speed up this next part of the video showing me designing my mandala. You're going to take probably 20 to 30 minutes doing your own, if not more. All right, so here is my finished mandala. You can see that I kind of made some mistakes in a few places, needed to erase, but really I just went with the flow for the most part. Not worrying about making every section totally perfect, because they still look pretty similar from space to space. A couple things I want to point out. Number 1, do not leave too large of blank areas. Like you want some good designs in there, some good detail. So like that is the largest I would leave blank. Anything else, add some more lines in there. Another thing to point out is that we do not want to erase our original lines dividing our mandala, because that is going to separate our different color schemes, which brings us to our next point. So by now you've gone over all the color schemes. You should know what they are. So what you're going to do next is choose the 6 that you want to do. So look at your worksheet. Choose from monochromatic, analogous, complementary, split complementary, triadic, warm or cool colors, and those are your options there. So I'm going to just kind of go in order. I don't really care. I'll start with monochromatic, but then I'm going to leave a space to write the actual colors that I'll use. Chromatic, and then okay, sweet. So from here, I'm going to start deciding what colors I want. Now you can decide as you go, or you can decide it at the beginning. So warm colors, you don't have to use every single warm color. You could just use a few of them. So like I'll make this one red, yellow, and yellow-green. And then go through and do that for all of yours. Okay, so you can see I've finished labeling the colors I'm going to use. Now, even if you're not sure what colors you want to use, as soon as you decide, I would write them off on the borders like I've done, just so that you don't accidentally forget like what color you're supposed to use and end up using the wrong color in a space. So I will have a finished example on Canvas, but just a couple of reminders about the coloring. Number 1, you're only allowed to use the primary and secondary color pencils along with black and white. Number 2 is just make sure it looks really nice and neat. And number 3, when you're done, take a picture and upload it.